Well, it is one of the biggest questions when it comes to plans for a Spurs Arena downtown. What will the traffic and the construction look like in the next 5 to 10 years? Well, RJ did some digging around to see what drivers, neighbors, and visitors could see if the Spurs Arena and Project Marvel get the green light.
If there's a new NBA arena, we're going to need certain construction to be completed before or when it opens.
Melissa Stendal is the president of the Lavaca Neighborhood Association, one of many neighborhoods that would be directly impacted by a new downtown arena. Parts of Cesar Chavez and South Alamo are already clogged with construction and brake lights for big events.
One of our comprehensive requests to the city and the Spurs is that when they look at and analyze the area and the impact of their development, that it goes beyond Cesar Chavez. Because if we can't get in off Cesar Chavez or Florida Carolina, we're kind of blocked in.
Back in June, Pape Dawson Engineering presented a plan to the City Council that involved close to 20 projects related to traffic. One of the big ideas was a single-point urban interchange at I-37 and Cesar Chavez. This is a modern intersection that engineers said would increase traffic flow there by 60%. There's also plans for a new parking garage near the Alamo Dome and adding thousands of spaces within walking distance of the arena site. VIA is also set to break ground on its green and silver lines that will be dedicated lanes to get people in and out of downtown. But residents being able to park in their own neighborhoods is one of Melissa's major concerns.
City Planner's Office has engaged with us to work on that residential parking permit, some sort of program. If barricade management continues, which we do probably want at certain key locations, is there like a more permanent solution where they can come up and down from the ground?
It's all part of a traffic puzzle that could transform downtown and, yes, lead to more of this: construction and delays.
I also want to see the thriving mixed-use concept, right? A variety of activities and services for people shopping, not just eating, but also shopping, pet care, medical care, like things like that, so that people can live and work here as well as have fun.
So the big question here, what will this all cost? And so these plans would be part of a city infrastructure bond with a price tag of around $220 to $250 million. This is not part of the current funding structure for the arena itself.
All right, we want to bring your attention to a fire right now. We talked about how fire danger is high. You can see this is 35 at Walsham on the city's northeast side, kind of closer to, this is closer to the Windcrest area. And you can see that there is some billowing smoke. We do have crews on the way, and as soon as we get more information, we will. But this is highlights, again, just how intense the fire danger is out there because of the gusty and dry conditions. Now, the good news is winds will gradually calm over the next several hours. So we're gusty right now, gusts up to 35 miles per hour. By sunset, those winds will be calming and our fire danger will go down. Got to bring your attention to the pollen count because molds are high. They're past 3,000. And as we take a look at the aquifer continues to fall. It is now below 626 feet above sea level. We're going to have the latest on our fire danger today and how you'll really want that jacket tomorrow morning. Neighborhood lows coming up. All right, we want to bring your attention back to that fire at 35 at Walsham. We have been able to report that multiple 18-wheelers have caught on fire. These 18-wheelers carrying a cardboard, and the fire quickly spreading because of the winds. You can see right there that we do have firefighters on scene actively working on this fire. 30 fire units out there trying to get this fire under control. The fire was reported just before 11:30, and it's been blazing since then. So, of course, multiple 18-wheelers on fire, holding cardboard. Thankfully, the firefighters are out there. 30 units are there responding to that fire, and hopefully they can get control of that fire very soon. We've got crews heading toward there as well. Here's the thing, Stephanie. Fire danger is going to remain high today because of how dry it is, because of how windy it is, but it's also coming with beautiful weather. I mean, it is gorgeous out there. So we just got to do our part, make sure to help prevent causing and spreading grass fires. Take a look at this morning's lows. We got down to 53 in San Antonio with temperatures in the upper 40s elsewhere across the hill country. This has been our coolest morning since April 8th, 204 days. So again, very pleasant weather. It's just dry dry and it's windy. Outside right now it's 63, so we've been able to rise by about 10 degrees. But as we head throughout the rest of the afternoon, temperatures only rising by another 5 degrees or so. So a gorgeous afternoon, but it is very windy. Winds are gusting right now up to 35 miles per hour in places. And this is the kicker. The relative humidity right now is sitting only in the teens and 20s. That is very, very dry air. This means that the air is only holding 20% of the water that it can right now. It is very dry outside. And because of that, again, we have a red flag warning in effect until 7 p.m. It's after 7 p.m. that those winds are really going to calm. But any fires that develop, like the 135 in Waltham, can spread rapidly because of the gusty conditions. So again, no burning of any kind. I know you might be tempted to set a campfire or things like that because it feels so pleasant outside, but please avoid doing that until after 7 p.m. Disposing of cigarettes properly is an important one here too. So gusty winds for us, gusts up to 35 miles per hour within the next couple of hours, but then the winds will calm after 5 p.m. We'll be looking at temperatures falling from the upper 60s into the upper 50s right after sunset, and then by midnight we'll already be in the 40s around San Antonio. It's going to be a chilly evening because we're going to have clear skies, calm winds. Clear skies and calm winds is a perfect recipe to see cold mornings, and we are going to have a cold morning tomorrow. 40 degrees is the forecast morning low in San Antonio. In some neighborhoods, we'll get into the 30s, 35 in Hondo, 36 in Utopia, 34 in Bulverde. There might even be a brief freeze for some folks in the hill country, but we're talking about maybe less than an hour briefly at freezing in the valley. So I would not worry too much about taking freeze precautions. I don't think you need to tonight in the hill country. I think, again, we're just going to be cold in the morning, and you're going to want the jacket. By the afternoon tomorrow, temperatures are going to rebound. We'll be near 70 degrees. It'll be a lovely day. What about Halloween? We are going to start off very chilly on Friday, right near 43, and then a day very beautiful. Tons of sun, low humidity, relatively calmer winds, high of 75. In the evening, we'll quickly cool, though. Your kids won't need the jacket, though, for trick-or-treating. We'll probably be in the near 70 degrees with very pleasant conditions. By the way, I know I talked about the first freeze. On average, I'll have a look at that for you coming up in the next half hour. In San Antonio, it tends to be toward the end of November. So again, tomorrow waking up at 40 degrees, 72 for the high tomorrow. Then by Friday morning, Halloween, 43 and 75. We do have a chance for rain on Saturday. The chance is low, it's 30%, but the chance is there, especially east of San Antonio. Don't forget, we gain an hour overnight Saturday into Sunday. Our nice weather is going to last here for a little while. I really expect for us to have some pretty pleasant temperatures throughout the weekend. So again, Stephanie, we're going to keep everybody up to date about that fire, 35 Waltham on the northeast side.
Thank you. Pay attention to those updates, very important. Well, local auction features over 150 items, including scripts from the movie The Shining. So we have a preview of some of the iconic pieces being offered. Well, happening tomorrow, a can't-miss auction featuring the estate of Hollywood icon Shelley Duvall. So items include scripts from The Shining with notes from famed director Stanley Kubrick. And our David Hurtado gives us a first look ahead of tomorrow's event.
If you're a collector of movie memorabilia and anything to do with Hollywood history, I've got a preview of a sale you don't want to miss here at Vote Auction Galleries that has the attention of Tinseltown. All right, Rob, what a great auction you've got coming up. The estate of Shelley Duvall.
Of all people, I mean, she's a big star. She's a big name. We're very excited and honored to have it. We pulled about 150 of the, I can just say, best things from the house there in Blanco. And she's most famous for The Shining. I mean, everyone knows that. And so I was going through everything in the garage, and I came across these scripts. I actually got chills. I mean, I got chills in the moment. Like, oh, here it is, you know?
Yeah, I got chills because there's notes from Stanley Kubrick, who is probably one of the most influential directors in Hollywood history as of right now. So yeah, no, this is great. And then you also Popeye.
And Popeye, of course, she's famously known as olive oil
in Popeye.
The family kept a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff is coming to auction. And this is a, this is a once in a lifetime chance to see it in a portrait of a big star.
And Hollywood has come knocking, haven't they?
Yeah, so at least a couple of directors so far of other movies, especially horror movies, have come asking about these scripts. Can they buy them straight? The Shining script in particular. Can they buy it straight up? What's it going to go for? That's what everyone wants to know. What are the Shining scripts going to go for? I don't know.
This director's chair, do you think it was any particular movie, or we just don't know?
Not sure, probably from the 90s, because not only was she a star in front of the camera, she did a lot of producing behind the cameras.
Okay.
So she was very much a producer and director, and here's this chair, probably from the 1990s.
If someone wants to buy any of this, what do they need to do? First of all, when's the date of the auction?
Yeah, October 30th. It's the night before Halloween. So, you can participate here in person, but most people, I think, will participate online. But about 150 items will start at 7 p.m. Central Time. Should be a lot of fun.
All right,
totally stoked about it.
That's a Thursday, right?
That's a Thursday.
Thursday, October 30th, here at Vote Auction. You can watch online, you can bid online, or come in person and bid, and see if you can get a piece of Hollywood history. And we'll see if people can beat some of the bids out of Hollywood, right, Rob?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Very cool. And David did mention, of course, some big Hollywood names are already interested in some of those items, so the prices will likely be high. But it is cool to have this right here in San Antonio. And there are a lot more items up for auction, including Shelley Duvall's jewelry, clothing, and books. So for anyone interested, the auction is happening again tomorrow night. This is at Vote Auction Galleries. And Halloween even closer. If you haven't bought your candy yet, you may be in for a fright when you get to the checkout lane. Candy costs are hauntingly high this year. What you can do to save some money.
And we want to keep you updated on this fire. This is 35 at Walsham. A bunch of 18-wheelers caught on fire carrying cardboard. And at the latest check, now 31 fire units are there. You can see actually the fire truck putting out that fire, at least trying to control that fire. At least they know the source of this fire. But it is a good example of how fires could become an issue later on today, especially grass fire dangers because of the wind. So we'll continue to keep you posted on that fire there near the Windcrest area. Otherwise, winds are gusting up to 35 miles per hour this afternoon. And again, with the dry conditions, any fires could spread rapidly. The good news is winds are gradually going to start to calm here, especially after sunset. We do have that red flag warning in effect until 7 p.m. And you can see that it's after 7 p.m. that our winds are really going to calm. So fire danger is high today. That is the big headline. Of course, it's also a lot more pleasant out there than it has been. In fact, by tomorrow morning, we're going to be cold. We'll be near 40 degrees. I'll be back with a look at those morning neighborhood lows for you, what you need to do as far as dressing the kids for the bus stop. And then Halloween itself is going to be very pleasant. In fact, the weather for trick-or-treating is going to be nearly perfect. I'll have these details for you coming up.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, the government shutdown is barreling towards becoming the longest ever, now on its 29th day and with no break in the deadlock. Today, there is increasing concern among people who relied on food assistance as funding for SNAP benefits set to run out at the end of this week. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest from Washington.
Today, food banks nationwide are ramping up operations, serving furloughed federal workers no longer getting paid and preparing to serve millions of other Americans expected to lose their food assistance benefits at the end of the week if Congress doesn't reopen the government.
I just hope that they will open soon so we can all get our paychecks and get on with our lives.
The deadlock over whether to negotiate certain health care provisions remains at a standstill on Capitol Hill. Democrats want to extend Obamacare tax credits set to expire at the end of this year, something Republicans are only willing to negotiate once the government is back open. A Republican-led effort to reopen the government by passing a basic short-term spending bill has failed in the Senate 13 times and counting.
If they want to prevent damage from their shutdown, then they can end their shutdown. The bill's right there at the desk.
Let's stop the shutdown Republicans caused, using hungry people as pawns.
25 states plus Washington, D.C. are now suing the Trump administration after the USDA reversed an original plan to protect SNAP benefits with emergency funds. The USDA now says it can only use those funds through an act of Congress. President Trump, meanwhile, is negotiating trade deals in Asia. When asked about the SNAP funding some 42 million Americans rely on, Trump said, "We are going to get it done," without providing details, before repeating the blame on Democrats.
The Democrats have caused the problem on food stamps. All they have to do is sign. And, if they sign, I'll meet with them.
More than 700,000 federal workers are currently furloughed. Members of Congress continue to get paid through the shutdown. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Well, the Federal Reserve will be front and center on Wednesday afternoon. Economists expect that the central bank will announce a quarter-point cut for interest rates. They say a decrease is needed to bolster a struggling job market. Fed officials are making these decisions without the benefit of federal economic data because of the ongoing government shutdown. Market watchers appear to feel optimistic as U.S. stocks started Wednesday higher, with the Dow up 160 points. So people who pay for Obamacare coverage may soon experience sticker shock. So the price tag on premiums for the Affordable Care Act will rise an average of 26% in 2026. That is according to an analysis from KFF, a nonpartisan health policy research group. So this marks one of the biggest increases in more than a decade. In addition to the hike in cost, KFF researchers say the actual amount paid next year will be much higher due to the disappearance of enhanced premium subsidies. This expiration of the subsidies is the crux of the fight on Capitol Hill regarding the ongoing government shutdown. ACA open enrollment starts on November 1st. A new study shows common viral infections like the flu and shingles can raise your risk of a heart attack and stroke. The meta-analysis reviewed 155 studies spanning decades and found that viral infections can raise the risk of heart disease both immediately after an infection and over the long term. So people who caught the flu were up to 6 times more likely to have a heart attack in the month after that infection. And those who had COVID-19 had nearly twice the risk of developing heart disease or stroke compared with people who hadn't been infected. So the lead author of the study said generally the more severe the viral illness, the greater the risk of cardiovascular complications. And these infections can also worsen existing heart problems. He reminds us that vaccination and timely antiviral treatments are ways to generally prevent the risk of a severe viral infection. To read more, you can check out Wednesday's Journal of the American Heart Association. All right, we'll take a look at this. Communities in Cuba, the latest to bear the brunt of Hurricane Melissa's heavy rainfall. And that heavy rainfall also led to rushing floodwaters. So meantime, areas left in the storm's wake now have a lot of work ahead of them. So ABC Ika Jachi has a look at the catastrophic devastation in Jamaica.
Melissa slammed Jamaica hard, and you can really feel the tension and the anxiety in the reports. Downed power lines, completely flooded neighborhoods, and families seeking shelter. Now, over the last several hours, Melissa has left Jamaica battered and battling to recover. Winds up to 185 miles per hour ripped through communities, damaging homes, schools, and critical infrastructure. Officials say more than 500,000 Jamaicans are without power, with downed trees and broken power lines complicated rescue and relief efforts. Now, St. Elizabeth Parish reports widespread flooding, and hospitals have faced power losses and structural damage as crews work to secure patients to begin urgent repairs. Now, officials are asking people to stay clear of damaged roads and to tune in for official updates. Rescue crews are prioritizing medical needs, food and water distribution, and bringing power back to communities again like St. Elizabeth Parish, where flooding has been so severe. But there is a hopeful note today. Real relief is on the way. Now, if you're traveling or staying in Jamaica right now, stick to designated shelters and, of course, follow only the official sources for all the information that you need. Ika Jachi, ABC News, Kingston, Jamaica.
Well, this year's candy haul might look a little bit different. Why trick-or-treaters might see a change in the kinds of candy that they'll find in their pumpkin pails on Friday night. And another reason to make sure that you are keeping an eye on the candy that your kids collect, the warning from one police department about illegal candy-like products. Well, we now have an alert for parents about Halloween candy, a warning to double check packaging before you let your kids dig in after trick-or-treating. ABC's Janae Norman with what one police department found.
Officials cautioning parents to be extra vigilant when checking the packaging for treats this Halloween season. One Michigan police department warning some counterfeit candy and snacks, like the ones pictured here, can look quite similar to the real thing and may contain THC or hallucinogenic mushroom products.
We thought to ourselves, wow, if a group of trained investigators looked at this and didn't pay any attention, what's your average kid going to do on Halloween? And we just felt we wanted to get this message out there to parents and children to be vigilant this Halloween season.
Arkansas Tobacco Control sharing a similar warning, providing examples of the illegal candy-like products they say can still be found at gas stations and convenience stores. Police say the brands shown are not behind the fake products. The maker of Trolley and Nerds Candy tell us, we're deeply concerned that our candy packaging imagery or deceitful look-alike logos are being used intentionally or otherwise to consume unregulated products that have been demonstrated to be unsafe for children. Officials adding that when looking at the packaging, keep an eye out for any warning labels.
Look for unusual symbols, unusual odors, anything that may indicate this isn't normal.
And that was ABC's Janae Norman reporting. So spooky season winding down a little bit, but if you haven't gotten your candy yet, then you are in for more of a scare. We are talking about the higher prices, and that's especially true for chocolate this year. So with high cocoa prices, every producer from specialty chocolate makers to candy giants changing up how they sell their treats. So for consumers, this could mean less chocolate per package, higher prices, and less cocoa content, meaning less chocolatey chocolate compared to before in terms of prices. So Reese's Peanut Butter Cups saw an 8% increase in prices compared to 2024. Hershey's variety packs 22%, Mars variety packs 12%. But that may not slow down some people. So Carly Shilldhouse with the National Confectioners Association says a vast majority of Americans plan on eating chocolate this Halloween season.
We expect that sales of chocolate and candy for the Halloween season will grow by about 3% this year.
But if you don't want to buy chocolate this year and you still want to hand out candy, there are other options that could be cheaper. So Carly says the second most popular candy is gummy candy, and coming in third, that old faithful candy corn. Look out there with a live cam this afternoon. Yes, the weather's been nice, but I mean, it's also time to remember the fire danger out there, Sarah.
Absolutely. High fire danger. Red flag warning in effect until 7 p.m. I also want to bring your attention to the pollen count today, because that's not great news either. Molds are high, past 3,000. Ragweed is present in low amounts, but the mold is the reason for your sneezing. Aquifer is down 0.2 foot over the last 24 hours. Well below that monthly average. We need some rain, and we only have a small chance for rain in our forecast. Plus, you definitely want the jackets tomorrow morning. And when is our average first freeze? It's time to start talking about it. I'll have those details in a bit.
The conditions are dry. I was going to ask you, Sarah, real quick. Did the rain at all this weekend help just a little bit?
It definitely helps somewhat because, you know, the vegetation is not as dry as it could be. But because we've been so dry for so long, we still have a lot of dry vegetation out there. And again, like you mentioned, the fire danger is high today. That's the key story today. But this morning, it was so pleasant. This was our coolest morning in a while in San Antonio. We got down to 53 degrees in the Alamo City, upper 40s elsewhere. In fact, this is our coolest morning we've had since April 8th, 204 days ago. So the seasons are changing. And take a look at morning lows over the next several days. Tomorrow, we're going to be at 40, 43 on Friday morning. And generally, our morning lows will stay at or cooler than average for the foreseeable future. Maybe coming up a little bit by next Friday, but still, we are going to be in that weather pattern of dressing layers because it's cold at the start of the day and comfortable by the afternoon. I want to show you, though, the morning low tomorrow. 40 in San Antonio with temperatures in the 30s elsewhere. Kerrville, New Braunfels, Hondo, Uvalde. There might be some neighborhoods that briefly touch freezing in the hill country. We're talking maybe less than an hour in some of the valleys and neighborhoods in the hill country. But no widespread freeze expected. So freeze precautions, you don't need to worry about those yet. But when do we on average see our first freeze? In San Antonio, that's not until the end of November. Generally, San Antonio's average first freeze is November 30th. Of course, it can happen earlier or even later than that. And we'll, of course, keep you posted. Up in the hill country, though, that first freeze happens earlier, usually by the first week of November. So it's not too out of the usual and ordinary to see mornings in the 30s in the hill country this time of year. It's pretty unusual for us right now because we've been so warm. Outside right now, though, the big story are the winds. Generally, it's comfortable with temperatures in the low 60s, but take a look at these winds. Winds are sustained from the north at about 20-25 miles per hour, but we're seeing a few gusts of up to 35 miles per hour. This is the reason why, coupled with relative humidity values being very low, that we have extreme fire danger today. That red flag warning in effect until 7 p.m. Anywhere you see this red color, that is extreme fire danger, with very high fire danger in the orange color. So everybody around South Central Texas, with the exception of perhaps out near Del Rio, needs to be concerned about the risk for fire. So no outdoor burning of any kind. Do not use tools that create sparks. Don't toss cigarettes out and about. Don't drag trailer chains, and do not park vehicles on tall grass. Now, the high today around San Antonio will be in the upper 60s. So other than the risk for fires, the weather's really going to be beautiful, and we're going to see winds calm. And so by the time we get to Halloween, we're going to have very similar weather to tomorrow. In fact, on Friday morning, we'll wake up at 43, totally sunny, nice and comfortable with a high of 75. And then in the evening, temperatures will be quickly cooling. What about trick-or-treating forecasts? Well, it looks like it's going to be pretty lovely. Before sunset, temperatures will be falling to near 70 degrees. Sunset's at 6:48. If you're going to be out and about later and it is a Friday night, Halloween is a Friday night, so there's going to be a lot of people out and about later. You will want to bring that light jacket because we're quickly going to be cooling. Okay, taking a look at your 7-day forecast, putting everything together for you. A cold start tomorrow morning. We'll be up to 72 though tomorrow afternoon. Another cold start Friday morning and 75 on Halloween day. Then we have included a small rain chance on Saturday, about a 30% chance for a few downpours, mainly east of San Antonio, but the chance is there. Again, it's only a small chance, but it's something we'll keep you posted about. Otherwise, the weather over the weekend is going to be absolutely lovely. Stephanie.
That sounds good. Thank you, Sarah. And as Sarah mentioned earlier in the newscast, we do have late breaking news this noon. A fire on the northeast side led to a heavy firefighter presence. So we have been following this throughout the newscast, and our Garrett Behringer is live near Walsham Road and I-35 with more. Garrett.
Yeah, so there are just under 100 San Antonio firefighters out here. You can see the smoke in the background. That's where several trailers have been damaged in a fire that's involved a lot of cardboard, wood pallets, and crates. It started outside a moving company this morning, and from what the San Antonio Fire Department is telling us, it sounded like one of the trailers had some cardboard in it. They don't know exactly how it started, but that caught on fire. Fire spread to some of the other trailers. Fortunately, not any buildings. There are no reported injuries, but because of the wind, they came out here in force, raised it to a second alarm fire. They actually have some crews in the neighborhood just south of here because with that wind, there was danger of it spreading. They say that there might have been some grass that caught fire on the other side of some fences, but fortunately, they've got crews over there making sure it doesn't spread to the homes beyond there. Most of this damage is, as I mentioned, to 4 to 5 trailers, they believe. Not any buildings, no reported injury. You can still see the smoke coming up, and if you're coming up 35, this is up near 35 in Walsham, you're probably going to see and smell this for a little bit. Now, they say the fire's been knocked down at this point, so there's not any more immediate danger, but you can see it's still going, and to put it out, they're trying to bring in some heavy machinery so they can kind of spread around those contents, get more water on all of it. And of course, with the wind out here today, that's the big danger. Right now, they've got enough people on scene, keep it under control, but that is why they came out with such a heavy presence right away. Live on the northeast side, I'm Garrett Behringer, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Garrett, thank you for that live report. It's a good thing that they have all that heavy presence there with all the smoke out there. We'll be right back. Well, the music will put you in the mood, but Fiesta is still months away now. However, the party already getting started. So last night, we got our first look at one of Fiesta's most popular events, and we were talking about the 135th Annual Battle of Flowers Parade. So 10 area high schools have been chosen to join the 2026 Battle of Flowers Parade, which is happening on April 24th. The theme is From Pages to Possibilities, with books as the backdrop of storytelling, imagination and dreams as they leap off the page, take flight, and bloom into vibrant flower-filled wonders. So over 100 area high school students gathered to participate in the big reveal and view the unveiling of 10 school floats.
It's such a unique opportunity to just come and enjoy with the community, with people like-minded like me, and just share and express all the feelings that I have for my school.
Well, they also unveiled the 2026 Battle of Flowers medal last night, and it will feature an open storybook with butterflies coming off the page.